Okay, we are back, and we have a very well-known guest with us here today. He goes by New York Myke from San Diego Harley-Davidson. Welcome, Mike.
How you doing?
Good,
Good.
good. So tell us what's new in the world of Harley-Davidson.
What's new in the world of anything? The first thing you asked me was what I didn't want to talk about. I'll talk about anything. What do you want to talk about? I mean, you want to talk about business, you want to talk about politics, you want to talk about motorcycles. Everything today it's so confusing and difficult. You just had this attorney on telling you how it's monumentally insane and expensive to go through a divorce and to go through this. You got an accountant over here that tells you how incredibly difficult and monumentally just like insane.
Hey, it's monumentally insane just trying to pronounce his
But
name.
but
Okay,
but, but
come
the
on.
accounting procedure. How many thousands and thousands of pages is there to the IRS
Yeah.
thing and everything else? And then how much money do we spend when we should be having a flat tax? When people should just be able to, sign a piece of paper, shake hands, say, hey, we've been married for 15, 20 years. It's not working out. You go your way, I go my way. What do we need all this stuff for? It's gotten so complicated. But I got to ask you a question,
Yes.
okay? So let's say somebody came along and said, "Hey, we're going to do something for the country, for the environment. We're going to confiscate any car over 15 years old." Remember the cash for clunkers?
Right.
We're going to confiscate all those cars,
Right.
and then you're going to be able to buy those cars back on this great exchange. And this whole Obama car thing is going to be good because the cars that they confiscate are obsolete. They don't have all the new gadgets, the new seat belts and the airbags that
Can
work.
we confiscate them and put them on the front lawn at the White House?
But and the new cars that you're going to have to buy through Obama car,
Okay.
are all going to be updated. So yeah, sure, you'll have to pay more money for. It is so unethical. It is so what this country is doing today is so unethical. This government is unethical. They've got this Sarbanes-Oxley. They charge you huge amounts of money. He's smiling over here because he knows how much money the public companies pay, and who ends up paying it? The consumer. The price of the goods that you buy, whether it's a car or a motorcycle or a bottle of water, a third of it is because of all the government regulations and all the other BS that we have to pay for because we have idiot politicians who we keep on reelecting and reelecting. And you know what? And we don't get enough involved as business people. And you got a lot of business people out here listening, small business people.
Right.
Where's our voice? Who's out there representing us? Because if there was anybody representing us, there would not be one person in Congress that's sitting there who would get reelected even one time because they're not representing us. And we're the engine that makes this country go. And you got a president that says, oh, we did it. We paved the roads. We did this. Are you out of your mind? We're going to stand for this. We listen for this. And in San Diego, how come this whole city is an outrage on a daily basis about what happened in Benghazi? 3 of those people who were killed, that kid Smith,
Right.
Tyrone Woods, okay, and Glenn Doherty, the 2 former SEALs that were absolute heroes. As Nathan Hale, Audie Murphy, all the great heroes. These guys were in the class of all those guys, and they're not recognized. And then the lie that was told that there was some videographer that made a video about Mohammed or something like that. It was a lie. We know it's a lie. It's clearly a lie. Why do the Democrats who elected this guy not impeach him right now for Benghazi and everybody in San Diego? This is the town that 3 of the 4 people who were killed. And I don't know. I could go on and on. You talk about business. I have a passion for what I do. It's the only reason I keep doing it. I love what I do. I love selling American products. I've been riding Harley-Davidson motorcycles for one reason. I love motorcycles. When I was a kid, I was riding not BMWs. I was riding BSAs and Triumphs. And then I saw a Honda 250 Scramble at a racetrack in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It was stationed out there. And I go, oh, my God, they're going to kill us. They're going to overrun us. They're going to underprice it, and they're going to overbuild it.
So
and,
when did you get started with
And I
Harley-Davidson?
sold everything I had, and I bought a used Harley-Davidson. It was the worst motorcycle in the world. It was a 10, 12-year-old. It was. Listen, Harley-Davidson motorcycle in the 50s and the 60s into the 70s was one of the worst motorcycles. But you know what? There are those Americans like myself, the Hells Angels, and all the other clubs out there. We rode those motorcycles because they're American. One reason. They're American. And there's a T-shirt out there someplace in my collection of 1,000 T-shirts that says, "I'd rather push my Harley than ride a Honda." And then in those days, that we meant it, we lived it. We walked the walk. We didn't just talk the talk. And now
they're a great product now.
Well, listen, you know what? They were always great because they were American, and we had pride in doing something that was American. It was quintessentially American. We all went in the military back once upon a time, and we all served our country once upon a time. And so now, this motorcycle has come so far. It's the state of the art in motorcycling. Yeah, some guy's going to call me up, BMW guy. Oh, well, we have state of the art. Hey, we have state of the art, and we could argue it and we could fight over it, but we have a legitimate claim to state of the art in the motorcycling world, and that's a great place for America to have come. I'm proud of that. I represent that, and that's why I sell Harley-Davidson motorcycles. I got to tell you something. I wouldn't be in business if I was selling, watches or whatever, because it's not worth it anymore. It's the business aspect of it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth the effort. You could be on the beach. You could do some business out of a phone booth or pick up your computer and just make some money. If you don't love what you're doing, what is the sense of doing it?
Andrea, I love it. I love it.
Isn't he like the best? I mean, we could just sit here and just.
I thought we were going to sit here talking about Harley-Davidsons and
well, we are. We are.
We're talking about being.
We're talking about a passion for America, for this country. It's the greatest country in the world. And you know what? I'm watching it in the generation that I was born into. And myself, I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of Clinton being elected. I'm guilty of Obama being elected. I didn't do enough not to get them elected. I didn't do enough for my country, and I need to continue and keep on energizing myself to do more, because I can't just lay on the sidelines and say, you know what, I give up just because I hate what's going on. You've got to get out there and fight, and I hope everybody out there, you can't just sit around and do nothing. I love this country, and that's why I love Harley-Davidson motorcycles.
Yeah. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, New York Mike, and Al Arias and Andrea Kay.
So I'm not the co-host.
I know. I just had to put that in there.
Well, and you actually are doing for your country by even just opening up another location like you did on Marina Boulevard. That brings more jobs and more revenue and more income to San Diego. And what a lot of people don't get, the connection between business owners and politics, is that you are really doing for your country every time you hire somebody.
I love what I do. I do. I truly do. I love this brand. I love what it represents. My employees are fabulous. I have got the best management team, the best employees, the best PR people, the best mechanics. They're awesome. You know why? They're only there for one reason, because they love this product. I've got tons of veterans working for me. I've got we love this country. We love this product. By the way, my wife, interestingly enough, is opening up her own motorcycle dealership with Victory and Indian motorcycles, because Indian motorcycles has come back. That's been back for a while. Yeah, and they just came back. Polaris is bringing them back, and they've got tons of money, and it's another American brand. That's and Harley-Davidson did that. Before Harley-Davidson came back, and there's a whole long story of how this all happened since 1981, when 13 employees bought the company back from AMF, and it's great. And I God bless AMF for what they did as well. But that opened the window of opportunity for people like Big Dog and Texas Iron Horse and all these other companies. And it opened the window for Indian to come back. It came back once and then twice and then went out twice, because it's hard. It's hard. People don't realize. You open up a restaurant today, open up any kind of business. What's the chances of success? Nobody lasts 5 years.
Small.
It's hard. Yeah. And that's why, listen, I'm driving a Chrysler. I'm driving a what do you call it? I don't know. What's it called? A Challenger.
Okay.
Dodge. I love it. My next car, I'm riding a Fiat. These people say, these countries, look how successful it is. We did this. Let me tell you something. GM isn't doing that well, buddy. It was a bailout to the unions.
They're doing good.
Chrysler had to be sold. Fiat owns Chrysler. I'm buying a Ford next, because Ford didn't take the bailout, and they're doing great. How tough is it to survive in this country when you find companies that do it?
Am I the only one having a hard time picturing Mike in a car, though? And not on a Harley.
Hey,
Well,
I love cars. What's
Well,
wrong
if
with
it's a
cars?
pickup truck,
There's
at least he
nothing
can
wrong
take
with
his
them.
Harley with him.
I like my Challenger, man. I just wish it was I wish it was American again.
Yeah.
But now Fiat owns it, and it's kind of tough, you know. But I think we all have to go out and support American brands, support our local businesses. Go and eat in a restaurant that's local. I mean, I have nothing against chain restaurants, but you know, I'm sorry, you tried to say something.
No,
Cut you off.
I was just going back. It's all.
Why did you
all in the-
interrupt?
Yeah,
Well,
why'd you interrupt?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
You didn't invite me up here for you to talk.
Okay. No, I remember back in the days when I did my time in the Navy, and you know, back in the '70s in the Navy, you know, there was no support for the American military. Thank God for all that's happened since 9/11, and see all the support. We're bringing that patriotic value back.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm a Vietnam vet.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to see lack of support, you want to see something
yeah.
that'll just disgust you. I didn't let it get me down then. You know, it's not a matter of getting your ass kicked. It's not a matter of getting pushed down on the mat. It's a matter of getting back up. And I've so far in my life, I've gotten back up every single time, and I've been kicked a lot. And coming back from Vietnam, I don't know if anything could be worse than that. You know, it was terrible. And when I saw that these troops were starting to go to war. And that's when I started doing my commercials. And I only did it because I wanted to get behind these troops and tell everybody, hey, you got to support the troops, because I was really worried as a Vietnam vet that would happen to them. And it's heartening to see. Look, you know, the cast of Sons of Anarchy support the Navy SEALs in a big way. I know that cast. I know these guys because they've invited me into this boot campaign or program. That's really a great thing. And this guy Perlman, all the rest, they're left wingers. They're Democrats. They're liberals. Do you know what? They love these guys. They've embraced them, and even if they're on the other side of the aisle and other things, they've embraced these troops and they've demonstrated it in the real way. And we have come a long way as long as we could say that.
We have, and we've come a long way in the show too. We've got to get ready for break here. So, Mike, before we go, is there anything you want to finish with? How people can get in touch with you? Anything else you want to say?
I don't know. Get out there, vote, campaign. Make sure that we get some good elected officials who are pro-business, Republicans, because Democrats just don't get it. They're nice people. They just don't get it. They want to give everything away. They want to feed the homeless. They don't care about the USO families. I mean, come on. Let's take care of our own people, and let's take care of people that go to work every day, have mouths to feed, especially when their spouses, you know, husbands and wives are deployed, the kids are at home. Let's make sure that we take care of those first. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, New York Mike. You are listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working to make a difference in our community. This is financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, and we'll be right back after the break with more homegrown business close up and Cindy Matalucci from The Pulse.